Well, good morning. I'm Amanda Brawley, and I am a member of this congregation. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, Director of Music, Alex Peach, Director of Religious Education and Membership Coordinator, Ayana Coffey, my fellow worship associates, and the technical team that is making today's live stream possible, John Pruitt. I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North Congregation, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, who you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Happy Kwanzaa. Just one announcement really this morning. Based on the latest information available regarding the new surge in COVID and its variants here in the state of Georgia, the board is temporarily suspending all UUMAN indoor in-person activities on our campus. Outdoor masked and distanced activities are permitted, and updated guidelines are being prepared and will be voted on at our next board meeting, which is Tuesday, December 28th. I believe that's at 7 p.m. If anybody has a different time, please let me know. Any member or friend is invited to participate in the discussion. This board meeting also appears on our UUMAN calendar, and all are welcome. I believe you can attend virtually. And now I will turn it over to Ayana, and welcome.
I open this worship with the words of Atlanta's own Octavia Rahim from her work, Gather. I have always been loved, wanted, and hoped for. One of my beloved ancestors met me in a dream. She said she'd been waiting for me to visit and watching me. She told me to sit down, listen, and look. She needed to teach me something I couldn't access in books, lectures, sermons, or sanctuaries. She said, daughter, you've got to pray with your whole soul, with your whole body, your whole heart, most all the time out there. That's what I've been doing. And I knew she was a master of this medicine prayer. I also knew that her prayers made me. I am woven together by threads of prayers spoken and whispered in her lifetime. I have always been deeply loved, wanted, and hoped for. I didn't have to wait for anyone to grant me access to what is rightfully mine. I do have to honor the principle of Sankofa, go back and get it. I have divine protection and guidance on my journey of reclamation and remembering that I come from love, and so do you. Ashe, amen, glory, hallelujah. Welcome and joyous Kwanzaa.
Welcome everyone to the first day of Kwanzaa. Just as in Unitarian Universalism, we have principles of Kwanzaa. The first being umoja, unity. May we all come together on this day. May we all be gathered together on this day to remember why we're here. Oh my goodness, in Black joy and Black rest, let us be together in this Black joy and this Black rest, which should be synonyms at this point. Kujichagulia, self-determination, the second principle of Kwanzaa. Always remember how much power and how much light you have in you. Black people, let us remember how much power and how much grace and how much comfort and how much strength and patience and kindness we have within us. Let that drive us. Let that drive us through our lives, through our rest, through our joy, through our brilliance. Ujima, collective work and responsibility, or as I like to call it, accountability. Let us remember who we are here with. Let us remember that we have each other. Let us remember that we are responsible to one another. And let us remember that we are also responsible to ourselves. Ujamaa, cooperative economics. Share. If you have a resource, you are meant to share it. Black people, if you need something, you are meant to ask for it. Remember that we are in this together and that we are greater as a collective than we are as the sum of our parts. Nia, purpose. We have a purpose here. We have a purpose to each other. Our purpose can look many different ways. Our purpose can be the same as another's and still look many different ways. We are here because we matter. We are here because we exist inherently. You can lend your friends whatever you need, whatever you have, whatever your friends have, Nicole. I love you, baby. Goomba, creativity. There is something precious and holy and sacred about creativity, especially Black creativity on this of holy, holy days. Oh my goodness. The day after Christmas, you got to find out what you need to do with all that wrapping paper. You got to find out what you need to do with all that extra tinsel. What are you going to do with the tree? Creativity, breathe so much beauty and just brilliance into life. And today and every day, I hope that we all get the chance to celebrate our own creativity and experience Black creativity, because there is nothing else like it on the earth. Imani, faith. That's what brings us here together today. That's what holds us in holy communion together. And that's what I hope drives our Black rest. Faith. Faith in Black rest, faith in Black joy, faith in Black people. May this be a blessed first day of Kwanzaa, and may the 6 days that follow be just as beautiful, just as joyous, and just as full and restful. Amen. Blessed be, and Ashe, so mote it be.
Go ahead, Ayana.
Wandering Time will be presented by my dear friend Dandelion.
Hi, y'all. So my name is Dandelion Prince-Lou. I am a, how do I explain myself? Queer, non-binary, trans, Black person living in Atlanta, Georgia, on unceded Eastern Band Cherokee and Muskogee land. I am Kenyan American, and yeah, I think that's a lot about me. My pronouns are they, them. This morning's chalice lighting will be adapted from the Stringer family Kwanzaa ritual. And I have a lot of things to say. I'm so sorry. Wandering Time. Thank you, Ayana, for this order of service. Wandering Time. an embodied resilience practice. This is a body scan. I was on the wrong page. So let's do an embodied resilience practice. This will be easy. That's the whole point. Get into a position that feels comfortable. Get into a position that feels easy for your body, restful for your body. If it's accessible to you, maybe wiggle around until you feel settled. I'm sitting crisscross applesauce right now. I'm on my bed. I am in my bedroom. This is great. I love this. I love virtual church. So maybe your path to ease involves getting up from where you're sitting. Maybe it involves laying down. Maybe you need to walk and pace across your room while you listen to me speak. Remember that the most important thing is ease. How does your body feel ease? Easeful, at ease. How do you embody that? That is the core of the practice and is what you can always come back to. We can always come back to ease. That tension you feel somewhere can always be released. Start by noticing your feet. How do they feel today? If you have space, if you have access, try moving the joints of your feet. Do they need to be warmed up? Are they feeling loose and lubricated? Are the joints in your feet falling somewhere in between? Notice the difference in the movement. No one is completely, perfectly symmetrical. For me, my left side a little tighter than my right. And that's the beauty of living in a body. It keeps our stories and tells them back to us. Move now to the joints of your ankles. Try circling them one at a time. Choose a path that feels easy, a pace that feels easy, comfortable. Notice what's being communicated back to you as you move. Now, let's move up to our knees. This is a sticking point for a lot of us. A lot of us complain about our knees. I'm one of them. If you are feeling aches, pains, or the whispers of some chronic condition, know that you are not on that journey alone. Choose your adventure here. Let the movement come naturally. Maybe that natural movement feels like circling. Maybe it feels like flexing and contracting. Maybe it's just the tiniest whisper of an intent to move. Just move. Whatever that movement is, it is a good movement. Move your intention up through your hips. If you're hearing any creaks or crackles, pops, remember to say thank you. Remember to say, I hear you. Swirl into easy movement. And remember to breathe. Now swirl your easy movement up your spine, one vertebrae at a time. Maybe you're moving in waves. Maybe you are a spiral starting off big, and circling smaller. Or maybe you're in the reverse, circling smaller and swirling big. Circle yourself into smaller and smaller movements, or into larger and larger rotations. Maybe your spine is undulating, or your spine could be rocking side to side. Remember to breathe. There is no right way to move but your own. Move your way up your neck and your shoulders. Now, I'm going to offer some guidance here. Our necks are tender and beloved, so please be gentle. Do not let your head or your neck tip too far in any direction without support. However that support looks, my support comes from my core when I rock my neck. Do not flail your neck either. We are doing gentle rolling here, gentle movement. You are embodying ease in these movements, whatever that looks like to you. Your shoulders move. And from there, you allow a movement to ripple out both arms, starting at the shoulders, moving to the elbows, the wrists, and the joints of the fingers. This might feel weird. It might look weird. This is how I dance. If it does, I would suggest that you're excelling. You are doing great if it looks weird. You are doing great if it looks just like how you move every day. Now slow down these movements. Bring your wiggling back to your core. Settle yourself on the face and breathe and smile. We are nearing the end. The spiraling is nearing an end. Squeezing and contracting is nearing an end and finding itself into ease. As you breathe in and out, squeeze the muscles in your face. And relax. Circle them. Contract and relax them. Let them release into the most rested version of your face. Take these last moments to breathe deeply into your body. Take whatever size breaths feel most nourishing and correct to you. Release all expectations and breathe. Let us take a few collective breaths here in unity. One last big breath for your body. Thank you.
Thank you, Dandelion. That was amazing. I'm glad we're recording this because I'd like to go back and redo that sometime. Now is the time in the service when the love that binds us together is spoken aloud. Within the loving community of this congregation and those gathered here, we take time to share with one another our joys and sorrows, a joy to amplify, to share joy, to lessen its burden. To share sorrow, to lessen its burden. And if you are so moved, please feel free to unmute yourself and share, or in the chat feature, share your joy or sorrow. We'll do a proverbial dropping of pebble. I have a joy that my mother was able to last minute come and join us from Indiana. She flies back home today to join us for the holiday. I have a sorrow that my sister tested positive for COVID. Luckily, it hasn't been too bad. It's just lasted longer. And we had to, unfortunately, cancel our big celebration yesterday. I was going to have 12 adults here. And instead it was just, our family of 5 and my mom, which was kind of nice too. And with that, I will open it up if you'd like to unmute or share in the chat feature.
Hi, Ann Bender and Dirk. I have a joy that Dirk was released from the hospital yesterday, so it was a little bit of a Christmas miracle. So we're going to pretend today is Christmas and do all of our dinner and unwrapping of gifts and so on and so forth today. So that's our joy.
Could I also share one?
Of course, please.
Oh, yay! I am joyful that I get to share. I'm also joyful to be here. I've never been to UUMAN, and I'm just really fortunate that I have a connection here through Ayana. So thanks for having me. A sorrow. I live in chronic pain, and the winter months are pretty bad. Speaking of knees, I have osteoarthritis, and it's just been really difficult because all I want to do is go outside and roller skate.
Well, I will drop a proverbial pebble for all of those joys and sorrows still too tender to escape the folds of our hearts. Let's keep one another in our thoughts in the coming week.
Service title: I dream of Black rest, Kwanzaa, Black excellence, and the UU experience. Service description: if you're like me, you've noticed that UUism is seriously lacking Black folks, and the ones this faith attracts and retains tend to be the embodiment of Black excellence. Black UUs can burn brightly as dedicated volunteers, board presidents, church leaders, and the heads of UU organizations, but can face equally dramatic burnout. This is both a spiritual and a justice issue. Can a Black American-centered holiday be part of the solution? Together, we'll explore what Kwanzaa is beyond what you can find on a simple Google search, what makes it so soul-quenching, and what it can do for UUism. I thought that was a really provocative title when I wrote it. I had no idea that it was actually prophecy, that I was headed to the ER for burnout, and a few days after, another Black UU leader, a seminarian and steering committee co-vice president, of the diverse revolutionary UU Multicultural Ministries, or DRUM, would die early, only at 40 years old, the day I was released from Emory. My first sermon was called Kwanzaa, Centering Black Joy. Among the folks I knew, it was attended by my child, my parents, and one of my community elders who had joined the congregation after moving from Atlanta. This year is flipped. Nestled into this Zoom are so many names I know, including some of my chosen community. My first sermon met me with nerves and imposter syndrome. This sermon feels fine. I'm not desensitized, but I have overcome the need to explain my presence or why I'm taking up space. I am, however, exhausted and have experienced the debilitating exhaustion that is part of burnout. Burnout for me, like COVID, taught me not to hope to feel better or for cures or a more just world, but instead to go to ground. It taught me to hold my body tenderly and to create new resilience practices that bolster me when faced with reality. I heard it said that what we need most as a society is to become hopeless, to reach the point where belief stops being something that can sustain us alone. And upon reaching that point, we become imaginative. I was instantly upset. I defined myself by hope paired with stubbornness. What I was most proud of was my ability to work through anything. I am the person who once led teenagers through a relentlessly steep 5-mile hike in the rain with the flu. I defined myself by being unstoppable. I am, as an individual, so truly stoppable. During my last service at UUMAN, also on Zoom, my burnout symptoms were in full effect. Vision was blurred and doubling. The room was shifting and rocking. The lowest volume setting on my laptop was just too high. I put my head between my legs, and unlike other times in my life, I didn't reach out for strength or spoons or a will to achieve. I waited, silent, camera off, patient. I waited until service ended, and then I crawled back in bed. I am stoppable. The great Hope Johnson and Alandria Williams died in 2020. These two Black UU leaders who shaped and informed the BIPOC UU experience in ways that I'm seemingly forever encountering. Their deaths led me to question my own leadership style. These pillars of Black excellence could die in a pandemic, yet not have COVID. What do I need to do to prevent this from continuing? I worked tirelessly to shift my focus to communal leadership. I pursued Black excellence through partnerships, from intentionally sharing the pulpit to refusing to answer drum emails without CCing my vice presidents, sharing the burden. 2021, more death, more illness, more loss. I shifted my focus to community care, ignoring my health, focusing on creating sustainable systems for others. If I could just make it to the summer, then if I could just make it to my off weekend, then to my day off, and then if I could just make it through the day, and then I didn't. I succeeded my way into a hospital bed. I met my beloved Matthew P. Taylor in passing, and then became soul to soul connected last Kwanzaa. We sat in a Zoom breakout room with other Black UU and UU adjacent spiritual leaders celebrating the new year by pulling tarot cards together. Matthew was brought on to the drum steering committee under my presidency to serve as co-vice president. Their last sermon in drum space was The Holy No Inside of You, where they beautifully and gracefully won an ongoing argument that we had over, as they put it, we as leaders and we as drum do too much. That we need to do less, say no, decompress, and unpack. Matthew was a seminarian, not only served drum, but served Black Lives UU, Team Sankofa, and was deeply involved in the virtual ministries of their internship congregation, was a local community organizer, and served as the leader of the UU pagan-centered space Covenant UU, but somehow made time for friendship, family, and their chronic illness. They were on their way to finishing 2 books the last time we spoke. My bookshelf will be forever empty. My friend asked for us as a faith to adjust our pace to meet the times that we are in. I have not. We have not. I am asking in their honor for us to be imaginative. What does the world look like if people don't have to die in service of this pace? What can we do within the safety of our faith to practice the sacred preservation of human life? I wasn't sure what I would share with you today. There are people present that I love. There are people present that I want to reach. And there are people who will never again be present in my Zoom rooms that I want to honor. And here is a community who is capable of holding all of that. It's a lot. It's heavy. And we do not have to sit with this. We do not have to hold tight all of that in our bodies and minds and hearts. We have resilience practices. Let's be embodied together. This will be easy. That's the whole point. Get into a position that feels comfortable, that feels easy. Just like before, maybe you wiggle, maybe you pace, maybe you lay down on the ground, maybe you come on or off camera. Find your ease. Let's bring our attention to whatever hand feels like it's calling you. Whatever hand feels comfortable with holding your attention. Hold your attention on your hand while also noticing that you are a person who is breathing. Notice that breath. Inhales, pauses, exhales, hesitations. It is all good. It's all there for you to notice. Start moving your hand with your breath. This does not necessarily mean contracting and releasing. This simply means move and breathe together. As your hand is illustrating, dancing the breath, watch it with your mind. Allow the breath to make whatever changes in your breath, body, mind, spirit that it desires. Let the change come about organically. If you're feeling settled and complete here, stay here. If you'd like more of a body adventure, choose to move your breath up your arm. Your hand can still be involved, but just bring your arm into the conversation. This might be joint articulation. Could also be muscle movement. This can feel so many different ways. There are infinite possibilities. You are infinite possibilities. Allow the breath to come home in the chest and the belly. You have one wild, beautiful, dancing, breathing arm and one wild, breathing torso. Allow the breath to wake up the other arm and slide the breath all the way down your hand. If it feels safe, if it's accessible, bring your head, neck, and shoulders, face into the action. And now it's time for the ultimate breath dance. Breathe into your hips, waking them up. Breathe down your legs, all the way down to your toes. Your entire body is spiraling with breath. Be breathed and dance the breath. Allow a few more deep, fully embodied breaths. And spiral yourself back toward neutral, home position. And now allow that spiraling movement to come to rest. Let's share a few breaths here. Kwanzaa is, for me, a pause. It's 7 days to take stock of my life, honor my family history, family feast, and observe the end of one annual cycle while beginning the next. The stringer traditions are mostly unchangeable. In the before times, Kwanzaa Eve or Christmas Eve would take place at my big sister's house. It included a chili lunch, singing Christmas carols, and offering intangible gifts to the community. This could be anything from a fun facilitated game to a song to me reading a homily that I'm particularly proud of because I don't take the time to actually create something special. There's also always an opportunity for my favorite Black-centered embodied resilience practice of dancing in community. This is where we reteach the wobble, where cousins reminisce over their days of cranking that yank, Siblings test their arthritic knees to the Tootsie Roll, and grandmothers instruct on the finer points of the shingling. On Kwanzaa Eve, we don our Kwanzaa apparel to light the kinara, the candle holder, and do our full ritual. There is then the gift exchange. We practice the sacred ritual of giving what is asked for. This serves to prepare each other for the years ahead by giving tangible support, as well as practice seeing, hearing, and witnessing each other. Before society caught on to the idea of honoring me, my predictions of what I would need to face the next phase of my life were being honored in my own living room. Imani, the final day of Kwanzaa, New Year's Day, is once again a day of full community. I host an Imani brunch full of savory foods, juice, pecan coffee, and hot tea. There's always a quieter joy than when we met just days before. After food, music, and conversation, I lead the group in a simple burning ritual to solidify our intentions and release what we no longer need. We gather in the protection of family to amplify Imani, faith. Kwanzaa is a pause for me, a circular time that connects both the end and the beginning of a year. Today is Umoja, meaning unity. I begin this time feeling liberated from the confines and methodologies of hope. And unlike last year, there is a sense that the future is wide open. As has most everyone, I've been changed this year. I live in that, and with hope neutrality, I take this moment of pause, this tiny hesitation between the exhale of 2021 and the inhale of 2022. I take this moment and allow it to spiral my imagination towards a future worth dreaming of.
That was amazing. That was just amazing. In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends bring forth and share their many and varied gifts. We ask for your time, treasure, and talent. And with this, we will now take the offering using the Givelify app. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again.
So, what is Kwanzaa to the white American, to most of y'all? I answer, it's a time to reflect on the Black American experience in a way that is not centered in whiteness, that does not need whiteness injected into it, that does not center trauma, but also a time to reflect on who you are in relation to Blackness and who you want to be in the future. Are you feeling the need to celebrate this closed practice? Sit with that. Are you someone who's committed to safeguarding the joy and rejuvenation of Black folks? Sit with that. Are you feeling the need to go down a Google rabbit hole? Sit with that, but also probably do it. Are you someone like me who needs an action step, who doesn't feel right without checking a box? I got you. Donate to an emergency aid request. Follow and donate to Drum, Blue, Southern Fried Queer Pride. That in itself is a Kwanzaa gift to me. You could read up on the 8th Principle Project, commit to 7 days of buying Black, read Black, listen Black, view Black, amplify Blackness, and support Black folks in Black-centered expression. As an individual, I am stoppable. With rest, joy, and community care, I gain access to resilience beyond measure. Ashe, blessed be, so be it, see to it, and joyous Kwanzaa to y'all.